March 24th, 2015. I am James Thomas Green. This here is Mr. Universe of 1947. My father, James S.B. Green. Say hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
So, shall we start talking, or why don't you tell me
I
a
don't know
little
what
more?
to talk about.
Okay, well, let's just have a conversation then.
Oh, what?
Tell me more about Bikini.
Wasn't much to it.
You were there for
Really?
90 days.
It was just had all kinds of scientists and captains and lieutenants and all kinds of brass all over the place. And
This was after the atomic bomb.
yes,
detonated
after the test, a year after the test, and after about 3 days over there, we'd been eating. I think some of the other guys had too. Been eating those coconuts, and what they do? They come over loudspeaker on the ship. Don't eat them coconuts. They're radiated. Yeah, after been eating them 3 days.
So, did you have any side effects, like, getting 8 feet tall and bursting out, turning green?
No.
So, what did you do for 90 days there?
Well, I didn't do nothing.
Nothing? You just sat in your bunk for 90 days?
No, I was sat in the bunk. I done a little typing for the company commander and all that bullshit.
What did you type?
Rosters and I don't remember really. Mostly it was just routine junk. The first class and second class were the ones that really typed up the secret stuff.
Did you ever get on shore?
Oh yeah, I went over.
Every day?
No,
How often were you on shore?
I don't know. I wasn't over there very much. Wasn't nothing there. Just a little island. Wasn't nothing there.
Did you go swimming?
I did one time, and then I found out there's sharks in the water, so I didn't go swimming no more.
Did you see any sharks?
Yeah.
Did you see one come after you?
No, but I just crawled out of the water onto a barge there. I look back and I look out there, and there's a little old shark swimming around. I said, "Yeah, that's enough for me."
I used to swim out in Guam a lot. I never saw a shark, but I know other people that did. One time I was out on the gangway of a ship, and this guy was fishing. He was off a Navy ship, and he pulled in a fish, and suddenly, it went from jerking back and forth, like it was the fish on the line, to suddenly a big yank, and then it was just a dead weight. And he reeled in half a tuna. It was like somebody had come along and cut a half moon slice out of the back of it with a razor sharp knife.
Yeah, do you ever watch that show on wild tuna?
No.
Do you know what they get a pound for that stuff?
Probably quite a lot.
Anywhere from $20 to $25 a pound.
Some of those species are endangered.
And I don't know how long the season is probably not very long. But the guys, they'll go out, catch one of them tunas, come back in, $10,000-$15,000.
Yeah. There was one bluefin tuna, I think it was, sold in Japan for over $1 million. One tuna. Of course, it was about a 600-pound fish, so. And it was apparently an especially nice one. So, well, why don't you tell me something about your childhood?
I don't think there's anything special about it.
Well, I'm not asking about special, just the ordinary. Like, you remember you
I
wanted
tell you the truth, I can remember flashes of it. But, you know, back in the old country, summertime, running around barefooted, all that kind of bullshit.
What about the bunny?
Huh?
Remember the bunny you told me about? Apparently you caught a bunny and it was either your mother or father told you to take it out and kill it, and you turned it loose. And so you didn't eat meat that night. You remember that story?
No, but I remember the cat come dragging in about a half-grown bunny. I took it from the cat, and I didn't have the heart to kill it. I don't know, it played possum on me, and I laid it down in the barn door on the floor, and that sucker jumped up and ran.
Oh.
So there went dinner down the tubes.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a long time since you told me the story. I didn't know it was a cat who drug it in.
Yeah, a cat drug it in.
Did your parents know about it?
Oh yeah, my mother knew about it. She saw me.
About your grandfather's horses?
I don't remember too much about him. He had two big. He had a stud and a mare. He was a horse trader. He wasn't no farmer. I don't know why he ever decided to move to Arkansas and become a gentleman farmer, because he was pretty well off when he was in Indiana. He raised horses.
You know, his father was in the Missouri Cavalry in the Civil War.
I didn't know that.
That's probably why he was into horses, because of his father. So, what else can you remember about Heber Springs?
Oh, the big thing, I guess, was that in July, called the reunion, where the carnival set up in the park, had Ferris wheels.
Was that the park we went to with
Yeah.
the Sulphur Springs?
Yeah,
Okay.
and had a band shell there. They played music. I remember this one girl that she was a violinist, and she played classical stuff. She didn't play hee-haw. Can't remember what her name was.
Was she your age?
No, she was much older. She probably 15, and I was probably 5 or 6. She was pretty good with the fiddle.
So what'd you do for fun in Heber Springs? What'd you do for fun in Heber Springs?
Rolled tires and played with hoops. Made stilts. Played rubber guns.
Rubber guns?
Yeah.
What's a rubber gun?
Well, that's a. You take a about a. At the time, I would say it's probably a 4-foot board, and cut little notches in it, and take and put a string down like that. Then you stretch the inner tube. You just cut an inner tube and the circles of the inner tube.
Yeah.
And what you do is you stretch the circle inner tube. You have, we call them machine guns. You could make them with 1, 2, 3, or a dozen notches in it, and then you got that string that goes under the rubber band goes over the top of them, and you go to the next one. You do the same. You stretch it and on down, and then you got a string like this hanging off of it, and you get ready to shoot. You pull the string, and what you do is you slip that rubber band, that inner tube, off of that notch. Pull it up, boom, boom.
They hurt when they hit you?
Nah.
How far did they shoot?
Probably 3 or 4 feet.
Oh. So you couldn't hit somebody 20 feet away with one of these?
Nah.
What'd you shoot at?
Each other.
Okay. What other games did you play as a kid?
Well, there wasn't too much playing going on. Mostly played a little, take a barrel hoop and build a little backboard. Tried to play basketball with a deflated rubber ball.
Is that how you started to play basketball?
Yeah, I think so. Buddy was a better ball player.
He was a better basketball player?
Oh yeah, he was good.
How good were you?
I was just fair.
But you were good enough that they were willing to give you a scholarship to the University of Arkansas if you wanted it, to play basketball.
That was during the war. That was when they was picking up anybody they could.
Well, so when did Buddy join the Navy?
1943.
What was the family reaction, your mother and your father, when he joined the Navy?
No, I don't recall. I really don't recall.
What was your parents' reaction when you wanted to join?
Good riddance.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Didn't you say that your father didn't want to sign the paperwork, let you sign up as an underage?
That was when I was going to Kansas to work on the railroad. Mother Dad came to California for some reason, and then they come up with this advertise for it, and there was a bunch of us from Arkansas kids. We went up there, worked on the railroad during the summer months, made a little summer money.
What did you do on the railroad?
Tamp ties, replace ties, help with straightening rails out of the road bed.
What's a tap tie? What does that mean?
Huh?
What does it mean to tap tie?
Tamp ties?
Yeah, what does that mean?
You gotta tie. You know what a tie is, don't you?
Yeah, that's a piece of wood.
Yeah. Okay, and then you got gravel all around it, and you take a fork and you tamp. You keep tamping. Tamp as much rock under there as you could to make it solid, make a solid bed.
Okay.
And they had to be pretty good. See some of them big old trains come by there, they had to slow down to about 15 mph. And I see some of them big old engines go teeter-totting like that on them where we didn't have the rails tamped down good enough. And then at lunchtime, the foreman got me to, I was to stand by as flagman and caution the trains that were coming, waving a yellow flag over my head. That meant slow that thing down. Buster, we're working here. And one time I stopped a whole big freight train.
That must have been powerful.
Well, they didn't tell me. You know, the guy come off the engine, you know, he was talking about it. And he was telling me, he says, no, I was waving the flag down here. And it's not supposed to be, it's supposed to be up here.
So waving
That means caution, 15 miles an hour. And down here means stop that sucker. And I didn't know that until the guy come off the engine. And he said, why are you stopping us? I said, I wasn't stopping you. He says, oh yeah, and then he explained to me.
Was he mad?
No.
He just explained. That's good. Some
And-
people.
And that one of the big old engines, boy, it was a big old 8-wheeler. I always wanted to get on one of them things and go. I did have a chance to go on as a brakeman, but I thought, no, I'll go back to school. Kind of wished, well, I don't know. Pretty good time. We went to Kansas City, worked on the re-icing of cars. This was before refrigerated cars. What they did is this lettuce and vegetables leave California, they had those holes on each end of the boxcar that you fill it with ice, and it would last till it got to Kansas City. At Kansas City, they had an ice house there. It was an enormous thing. And they had chains that drug it out to a ramp on top, the level, the height of the cars. We'd open up the hole, and then those 300 blocks of ice, we'd chip them about maybe. We used to try to see how much we could get in at one shot out of, I don't know, 300 pounds. You slide it across there in the hole, and then that keeps to keep the vegetables in a state of eatable. Yeah.
Edible.
Then they'd haul it on, hook on it and haul it on into New York. That's during the war.
Did you ever grab yourself a couple of pieces of produce along the way?
No. Oh, you're up on top.
Oh, okay.
You're up on top of the car.
Goes out of
The
reach.
doors are down here. Inside they're sealed.
Okay.
And then now they don't have that big old ice house anymore because they started making refrigerated cars.
So they wanted you to keep working for the railroad, but you wanted to.
The foreman, he, there were three of us that he wanted. He said he could get us on if we wanted to, and.
And
I went back to high school.
well, that probably was a good thing. But would he have taken you if you gone back the next summer after graduation?
I wouldn't have had the chance. I would have been drafted by then. So I joined the Navy instead of being drafted. And I don't know which is the smartest thing.
Well, in retrospect, do you think you would have been drafted? Wouldn't the war have been over?
Oh yeah.
You still would have been drafted?
Yeah, they was drafting people clear up to 1968. You heard all this Vietnam stuff.
I remember.
And people going to Canada had to avoid the draft.
I remember when I was a little kid, Mom was worried that the wars might continue so long that I might get drafted eventually.
Well, there's a chance of that.
Well, if they stopped in '68, actually they must have gone longer than that. I don't know.
Nixon's the one that's the only thing I know that he did is, well, he was a good foreign government expert too.
Did you vote for Nixon?
No,
Did you vote for Kennedy?
yeah. Johnson. I voted for Johnson.
Eisenhower.
No. I forget what.
Truman.
Yeah, he was my first one.
In 48.
Yeah.
So were your family always Democrats?
I don't know. I think my grandmother and grandfather was staunch Republicans. My grandfather, I understand, hated Roosevelt. I don't know why.
This was grandfather McCord.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know Dad's dad. He was gone when I came along.
Yeah, cavalry officer.
Huh?
Cavalry officer. That your grandfather, well, he was James Buchanan McCord, and his father was Richard McCord. Richard B. McCord. I don't know what the B stands for.
Baxter, I think.
Baxter?
Baxter.
Okay, that's actually the first time I've ever heard.
James Baxter McCord.
Are you sure?
I'm as sure as I'm sure.
Okay, because that's a significant thing. I did not know what the B stood for until now. I'll have to change the genealogy record.
Yeah.
Richard
He's
Baxter,
what you call a redneck.
who was,
My grandfather McCord.
even if he was from the north.
Yeah. He was a southern gentleman.
I thought that your family didn't like the McCords because they were damn Yankees.
They probably didn't.
I was under the, that I think Mary Catherine told me that they didn't like, the Green family didn't like the McCords because, they were stealing your father, a southern boy, being married to a damn Yankee.
I never did know why.
I think possibility that, although you never knew it, back in the days when they were teenagers, it's probable they would have known that Richard McCord was a cavalry officer. Well, actually, I don't think he was an officer. I think he was a non-commissioned officer, but he was in the cavalry from Minnesota, not Minnesota, Missouri. That's where he was in the cavalry from Missouri, and they did fight in Arkansas. And like I said, maybe that was well known at the time.
Was it Pea Ridge or something?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to look into that. What battles he was in. But if it was known back, around 1900, 1910, 1920, that your mother's grandfather had been a cavalry person in from the Union, she might not have been very popular in Arkansas for that reason.
She was a telephone operator.
I did not know that.
Yep, she worked for Ma Bell, Searcy, Arkansas.
That was after you were born? Or before?
No, before. Before Dad and her got married.
Really?
She was a Bell girl.
Is that what they called them then?
I don't know what they call them.
A Bell girl?
I don't know. I just call her a bell girl.
Okay.
But back when I was a kid, you had to pick up the phone and ring 0 to get the operator. And I'd like to place a call to OU812. Oh, you would. And then she would dial the number for you. The switch open, and then when she got your party on the line, got you guys yakking, she flipped the switch, you could carry on your conversation.
Okay. I did not know that. You've never told me that story before. What other stories of your mother? Anything that comes to mind? Well, what about your father?
He was a pretty good carpenter. He knew how to put 2x4s together. I never could.
Is that why you became a carpenter for a while?
I thought I could try it, you know.
Trying to be like Papa?
Well, no, I knew I could never match his work. He was he was a cabinet maker. He could, I can remember in houses up there in Eber where he'd put down hardwood floor, cabinets, build cabinets. I can remember him working on a Griffin's house. He's building cabinets and putting hardwood floors, and he'd still be working with electric lights, under electric lights, 8 o'clock at night. No overtime.
Just work till you're done. Did he work for himself?
No, he was hired. He was a hired hand.
Didn't you tell me he built a doctor's clinic by himself?
Well, he was in charge of it. The hospital there. I don't know whether you remember it or not, but
I remember you pointing out some building. You said your father helped build it.
yeah, that's Harry Her Hospital. I don't know what. I think it's a rest home now.
Did you ever go there as a patient?
Yeah.
Is that where they took your appendix out?
No. Cersei.
Were you living in Cersei at the time?
No, I was in Jacksonville.
They took you to Cersei for the operation?
Yeah.
How far away is Cersei from Jacksonville?
Oh, about 35, 40 miles, something like that.
That must have been fun on those bumpy roads with appendicitis.
I don't remember. All I remember is getting in the car.
Were you drugged up?
No.
Maybe you were just in so much pain you don't remember anything.
I don't know. But when I can remember going in the hospital room and the doctor immediately said, yeah, they got to come out. And I thought, oh, shit. What now?
How old were you?
About 14. I had no idea what an operation was. But anyway, That's when they used ether to put
Uh-huh.
you under. And I remember the nurse saying, "Okay, Jim, I'm gonna put this over here and I want you to breathe." And I went out like a light. I remember that. First thing I said when I woke up was, "When are they gonna do it?"
Yeah.
And the nurse said, "It's done. They already cut me open, taking the appendix out. They got it just in time because it had started to erupt and it had a long string on it.
How long did you take you to recover?
Well, back in them days, they made you lay in bed for I think 3 or 4 days. You couldn't drink water, none of that good stuff, and it was miserable.
Yeah.
Now they operate on and kick you out of bed the same day.
Anything else you want to talk about now, or should we call it a close for the moment?
Close it up.
Okay. So, that was, what was your name again? What's your name, young man?
James S.P. Green,
What's today's date?
22nd or 3rd, somewhere around there.
The 24th.
Oh, I was close.
Yeah. What year?
2015.
Where are you?
Salinas Valley Medical Hospital.
Close. Salinas Valley Memorial.
Yeah.
You look like you're getting tired.
I'm tired.
Okay. That's all.